Hello everyone. So today we'll continue with our CAT previous year question series, and this will be the LRDI set number 64 from CAT 2018 paper. Now we'll look at the question. Okay. So the question says, you are given a n by n square matrix to be filled with numerals so that no two adjacent cells have the same numerals. Two cells are said to be adjacent if they touch each other horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. So let's say we have a 3 by 3 grid. It's n by n. So for now we are assuming 3 by 3. So if we are talking about this cell, the cells which will be diagonal to it are either horizontally, this is adjacent, this is adjacent, either vertically, this is adjacent, or this is adjacent, or diagonally. So for this diagonally would be these four, right? So this, and this. So all the other 8 cells are adjacent to the center cell. Okay. Now, if we talk about this is about the center cell. ठीक है, अगर corner cell की बात हो रही है, so a cell in one of the 4 corners has 3 cells adjacent to it. इसका मतलब क्या है? Let's say we have a 3 by 3 grid. If we talk about the corner cell, which is this one, it will have 3 cells adjacent to it. Which ones? Horizontally, vertically, and diagonally. 3 cells adjacent to it. ठीक है? A cell in the first or last row or column which is not in the corner has 5 cells adjacent to it. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? Cell in the first or the last row, let's say this one, which is not the corner. तो इसका मतलब क्या आंसर हुआ? इस सेल की बात हो रही है फर्स्ट रो में, which is not in the corner, has 5 cells adjacent to it. How? Horizontally तो ये दो हो गए, vertically ये वाला हो गया, diagonally ये दो हो गए. So it has 5 cells adjacent to it. ठीक है? Any other cell has 8 cells adjacent to it. As we have seen in the first example, agar we are talking about this cell, all the 8 cells are adjacent to this cell. Okay, so we understood the question, basic question statement. Now coming to the first question, what is the minimum number of different numerals needed to fill a 3 by 3 square matrix? Okay, so let's draw a 3 by 3 square matrix. In this 3 by 3 square matrix, what is the minimum number of numerals to fill it? Okay, let's look at it. So let's fill the first cell with 1. Now this cell cannot be 1 because it's the adjacent cell. It cannot be same. It has to be 2. Now we have to keep the number minimum. So the third cell we can fill with 1 because it is not adjacent to the first cell. Now talking about this cell, it can neither be 1 nor 2 because for 2 also it is on the diagonal. It has to be 3. Similarly, if we talk about this cell, it can neither be 1, 2, or 3 because for 2 and 3, it's horizontally and vertically together. For 1, it's diagonally together. Adjacent. By together, I mean adjacent. So this one has to be a different number from all 1, 2, and 3. It will be 4. Now this one, it can be neither 1, 2, and 4. It has to be 3. Similarly, this one can be 1. This one can be neither 1, 3, and 4. It can be 2. And this one can be neither 2, 4, and 3. It can be 1. So the minimum number of numerals needed to fill this cube was 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So इसका आंसर क्या होगा? 4. In fact, not just for 3 and 3. For any size, it will be 4 and 4 only because we have to see that एक सेल के maximum कितने adjacent types हो सकते हैं. Different type of adjacent cells. Let's say अगर हम center वाले की बात करते हैं, for 4. 4 has the maximum number of adjacent cells, which is 8. ठीक है? Let's say this one. We are talking about the center cell. It has 8 adjacent cells. This is the any cell, the maximum number of adjacent cells it can have is 8. All the cells are surrounding it. So if we put 1 here, all other cells are adjacent to it. We cannot put 1 on the top. We have to put 2 here. Similarly, we cannot put 1 or 2 over here. We have to put 3 here. Similarly, we have to put 4 here because it cannot be neither 1, 2, or 3. After this, we can put 2 over here, 2 or 3, anything. Let's say we put 2 over here. Here it has to be 3. It cannot be 1, 2, or 4. Here it has to be either 2 or 4. Let's say we put 2. This one has to be 4, and this one has to be what? It cannot be 1, 4, or 2. It has to be 3. So any cell which is, if you talk about the center cell, which has the maximum number of adjacent cell, it can be filled with 4 different type of numerals. So it can be replicated to any size of cube, either 3 by 3, either 5 by 5, either 4 by 4, either 10 by 10, 100 by 100. The answer will remain the same. Okay, the minimum number of numerals would be 4. Coming to the second question, what is the minimum number of different numerals needed to fill a 5 by 5 cube? Again, as we explained, Abhi, it will be 4, but let us try it and see. Okay, we'll draw a 5 by 5 cube. ठीक है? What is this? Now we have this 5 by 5 cube. Okay. Now what is the minimum number of numerals required to fill it? Let's say we have 1 in the corner. Let's fill the maximum number of ones. This one cannot be 1. So this can be 1. 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 This, and this. This will be the maximum number of ones we'll have, which are not adjacent to each other. Now let's fill 2s. This can be 2. This can be 2. These 3 cannot be 2. In fact, this entire row cannot be 2 because each cell in this entire row is adjacent to either one of the 2s from the above row. ये ऐसे adjacent है, ऐसे adjacent है, ऐसे, 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 and ऐसे. So this entire row cannot have 2s. ठीक है? Where else 2 can come? 2 can come here, here. Similarly, this entire row cannot be have 2s, this and this. Now we'll have to put 3, right? So we can put 3 over here. We can put 3 over here. We can put 3 over here. 3 over here. 3, 3. And this one, it cannot be 1, 2, and 3 neither because all are adjacent to it. It has to be 4. Similarly, 4, 4, and 4. Okay, so the minimum number of numerals, different numerals required is 4. तो हमने ये वाला भी कर लिया. ठीक है? Now, coming on to the next question. Next question says, suppose you are allowed to make one mistake. That is, one pair of adjacent cells can have same numeral. What is the minimum number of different numerals required to fill a 5 by 5 matrix? ये पूरी मैट्रिक्स है. इसमें हमें सिर्फ एक मिस्टेक अलाउड है. Let's say instead of this 4, I can fill 3 over here. A mistake over here कि 3 by 3 साथ में है. But इधर तो मैंने वो मिस्टेक कर दी. But what about this block, this block, this block? These 3 blocks cannot have that mistake because only one mistake is allowed. So minimum 4 number of different numerals will still be required. Okay. So I think this is a very stupid question, but yeah. So 4 is the answer. I mean, like, it's not a great question, I would say. ठीक है. And now moving on to the last question. The last question says, suppose that a cell adjacent to any particular cell must have different numerals. What is the minimum number of different numerals needed to fill a 5 by 5 matrix? So again, we'll have a 5 by 5 matrix. ठीक है? This is a 5 by 5 matrix. इसमें लिखा है कि a cell adjacent to any cell must have different numerals. So let us say कि ये 1 है. So इसके adjacent में सारे numbers पे different numbers होने चाहिए. So this has to be 2, this has to be 3, and this has to be 4. Right? Now, looking at this 4, we have 8 different neighbors to it. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different neighbors. And all these 8 neighbors need to have a different numeral. It cannot repeat. Therefore, this numeral 1, 2, 3, 4 are covered. This has to be 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All the numerals covering 4 has to be different. Now, coming to this 6, we have 2, 4, 8, 7, and 5 as neighbors or adjacent cells. This can be, we have to keep the cells, we have to keep the number of different numerals as minimum. So what about these 3? These 3 can take the values of 1, 3, and 9. 1, 3, and 9 again, because this 1, 3, and 9 won't be adjacent to this 1, 3, and 9. And similarly, we can fill the entire cell. For this 3, we have neighbors as 1, 5, 6, 7, and 9. This can be 2, 4, and 8. Similarly, for this 9, we can have 5, 1, 2 below. For this 8, we can have what? 1, 2, and 5, 1, 2, and 5. And similarly, for this 2, we can have 3, 4, and 6, 3, 4, and 6. And for this 1, we can have 6, 3, and 4, 6, 3, and 4. So the minimum number of numerals. Instead, we don't have to do all this clatter. We just have to see, let's say, कोई 3 by 3 वाला grid है. हमें पता है कि एक सेल जो बीच वाला है उसके maximum 8 neighbors हैं. All these 8 neighbors has to be different and this one cell has to be different. So total different numerals we require is 9. अगर हमारे पास 9 numerals हैं तो we can achieve this condition because a maximum number of neighbors a cell can have is 8. And that one cell itself plus the maximum 8 neighbors. So total 9 different numerals are required. So इसका आंसर हो जाएगा A, 9. Okay. So I hope it was a very simple set and this was clear to every one of you. For any further queries, you can reach out to us on the following number or you can reach out to us on WhatsApp or the given email ID. Thank you.